first round of France's election is over. As expected, nobody won more than 50% of the vote, and that means the top two candidates go for a runoff election scheduled now for May 7th. And as expected, those top two candidates are the centralist Emmanuel Macron and the far-right National Front leader Marine Le Pen. And I think there's three things we can take away from yesterday's election in France. The first is, don't rule Le Pen out yet. The general consensus is that this is in the bag now for Emmanuel Macron. Typically in France, the left and the right wing ally to block the National Front. And I do agree that Macron does seem like the probable victor, but this is still an unusual election. Macron, he's generally inoffensive, but nobody's really enthusiastic about him. 30% of pollsters, 30% have told pollsters that they would stay at home in this kind of a situation. So we're facing historically low turnout, but at the same time, Le Pen has very motivated and eager supporters. Will this be enough to tip the balance? Personally, I don't think so, but I wouldn't rule out a Le Pen victory either. Now, the second takeaway from yesterday's elections is that the winner is going to be a lame duck. François Hollande, the current president, is the most unpopular leader in French history. His approval ratings are sunk as low as 4% in some surveys. Now, Macron in many ways is similar to Hollande and could well share exactly the same fate. More practically, France holds parliamentary elections scheduled for June 10th. Now, Emmanuel Macron used to be in Hollande's party. He quit because of its extreme unpopularity. He founded his own brand new party about a year ago. And there's no way this new party can go from nothing to a majority in a year. Instead, the victor of this parliamentary election is expected to be François Hollande's Conservative Party. So right from the start, Macron is going to have Parliament against him. It's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for a very weak France. France, as it is, has huge problems with radical Islam, with its economy. Youth unemployment is at 25%. And now it looks like there's going to be political deadlock and nobody's going to be able to get anything done. And that then leads to my final and most important point, is that a lot of French are very angry. 47%, nearly half of French voters yesterday voted for parties that basically want France out of the euro. Almost half of French, they voted for what just a few years ago would have been extreme minority positions. That's a stunning result. And that is not going away. If anything, given what we've just talked about, that's just going to rise and get worse over the next few years. So if Macron wins, I think the world's going to breathe a sigh of relief. You'll see lots of newspaper articles talking about how he just dodged a bullet. But this story, this trend is a whole lot bigger than one election in one or two countries. Europeans as a whole are very dissatisfied with their political system, they're incredibly dissatisfied with their economic system, and the percentage that wants radical change is getting closer and closer to being a majority now. And so that means major changes are ahead for Europe.